The world is on the verge of global change. The speed of data transmission has increased by multiples of millions. The rate of globally significant events and that of discoveries and crises is growing exponentially. Our civilization is like an uncaptained ship sailing on rough seas with neither chart nor compass, all the while moving faster and faster. The time we have to make the right decisions is shorter and shorter. We are facing the choice to fall into a new dark age, into affliction and degradation, or to find a new model for human development and create not simply a new civilization, but a new mankind. 2035. The first successful attempt to transfer one's personality to an alternative carrier. The epoch of cybernetic immortality begins. For the man of the future, war and violence are unacceptable. The main priority of his development is spiritual self-improvement. A new era dawns. The era of neo-humanity.
I finally got a chance to sit down with the mastermind behind this conference, Russian billionaire entrepreneur Dmitry Itskov. How much can you add before you're not a person anymore? Where does, in fact, the consciousness lie?
Some scientists say that consciousness is just the computational process in your brain. We can just create the technology which will allow us to transfer our consciousness to the new body.
I saw your closing speech.
In this future, people will be young, beautiful. They won't suffer from illnesses and diseases.
You said the goal is to transform humans to godlike humans, and that you're looking forward to that transformation.
When you look at movies like Elysium, you think of science fiction and not science fact. But as you've seen from the commercial at the very beginning of this video, there's people dead set on doing this. And why does this matter? When you go back and studied what happened before the flood about changing our DNA, that was the main reason why the flood happened, is because man and fallen angels had corrupted our blood so bad that it made God repent that he ever created us. Right now we are being inundated with transhumanism, mixing DNA of animals with movies like Elysium, video games like Singularity. It's all coming like the Bible foretold, Matthew 24. As in the days of Noah, so shall the last days be, and so will be my coming. The only thing about all this stuff is they always say that the government is decades ahead of the technology that we see now. And the thing that I leave you with is, how far have we really come, and how close are we to as in the days of Noah, and how much will God take?
Is the #1 futurist on the planet and has predicted such things as the internet itself. He predicted a universal search engine, and he is the go-to guy when it comes to the possibilities of life extension and incorporating technology into our biological bodies. I can't wait to pick his brain. Thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it. This is a real honor. You are the figurehead in my mind and many others when they talk about the possibilities of the future, especially when it comes to downloading consciousness into some sort of an artificial body, an avatar, if you will. What are we looking at in the future?
The most important phenomenon in the future is we're going to merge with our technology. This is actually an expansion of my brain. Today, we might as well actually put this right in our brains. And by the 2030s, this will be the size of a blood cell. We'll have millions of little computerized devices, nanobots, in our bloodstream. They'll go into the brain through the capillaries. So our thinking then will be a hybrid of our biological brains with this non-biological expansion.
That's amazing. I mean, that's really hard to wrap your head around, the idea of having a bunch of little computers running around inside your body in 17 years.
The reality is that we're going to gradually become primarily non-biological. At that point, we are effectively robots.
There may be a future, and it may be very close, where there are no regular humans left. Or it may be possible that we are the last biological people ever. It's really scary.
Do you think by utilizing this technology that we're on the verge of achieving immortality?
We'll be able to overcome many of the things that make our existence too short.
Going back to in the days of Noah in Genesis, it says there was giants in those days. It says when the sons of God came to the daughters of men, they bare children. And the wickedness of man was so great that God repented that he ever made us. If you go down here to the book of Jasher, which I think should be in the Bible, when you go to Joshua in the King James Bible and all the Bibles, Joshua 13, it talks about the sun standing still, and it says, "Is not this written in the book of Jasher?" And when you go back to the book of Jasher, I think it was left out because it had so much stuff in there that people couldn't understand, that they thought it was more of a sci-fi book than a biblical book. But this book has so many meanings, and like I said, if this book was not meant to be in the Bible, it would not have been written in the Bible. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? But the book of Jasher, this is Jasher 4:16-21, and it says, "The sons of men in those days took the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other." If you go down here to Jasher 61:14-15, it says, "A large animal was devouring the ox. From the middle upward it resembled a man, and from the middle downward it resembled an animal." And if you go over here to 2 Samuel 22, and it says, "The son of a valiant man who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. And he went down also and slew a lion in the midst of the pit on the time of the snow." But it says he slew 2 lion-like men, and this is 2 Samuel 22:19. Here's some more interesting scriptures. This is Isaiah 13:34. And it says, "The satyr shall dance there." And then over here it says, "The satyr shall cry to his fellow." I didn't know what a satyr was until I went and researched it. And actually a satyr is a mixed human with an animal. That's supposed to be a mythological creature. But you go over here, it's mentioned in Isaiah. It says right here, they call it a satyr. What is a satyr? It's a mixed human animal. In the Bible, if it mentions unicorns, it mentions unicorns like 9 times in the Bible. You go over here, Psalms 22, "Save me of the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns." And the word unicorn is used 9 times in the Bible. So like I said earlier in this video, how much longer is it going to be before we do reach, as in the days of Noah and the flood?
Plans to allow scientists to create embryos that are part human and part animal are set for approval by the official regulator in Britain. These hybrid embryos are seen by the country's leading scientists as a vital step in the search for cures for diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. It's a highly controversial procedure and is banned in some European countries. Our medical correspondent Fergus Walsh has the story.
This embryo is part mouse, part cow. In a few months, this Newcastle lab is hoping to create a human-cow hybrid. If that leaves you uneasy, the scientists here understand how you feel.
It does seem a little abhorrent from a first analysis, the fact that we're mixing bits of cow cells with bits of human cells.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a science fiction movie. It's 2013. Many of the technologies developed by DARPA and the globalists using Western ingenuity have developed technologies, they say themselves, 30 to 50 years advanced than what the public knows in the national security complex. 26 years ago, humanoids were being grown in the uteruses of cows. The guys just searched the glow-in-the-dark part jellyfish monkeys. We'll put those on screen for viewers. There they are. That's the Sunday Mercury newspaper. And there is the glow-in-the-dark monkey. Last time I checked, they're coming out with monkeys with gills that can live in a fish tank. There's glow-in-the-dark rats and glow-in-the-dark rabbits. And the issue here is, ladies and gentlemen, this is old technology. This was in the late 1990s being sold like something on a Blade Runner on the streets in Asia.
When you look at what DARPA is doing right now with the Petman project, and when you look at that robot is not built to be a robot. That robot is built for war. Just look at these other robots. Look how more advanced these normal robots are compared to DARPA's robot. And it's because they're not showing you everything. And they're trying to make it seem like they're going to have a robot that can walk. There's robots that already walk. There's robots that you can have conversations with without having a puppet master or whatever you want to call it. But you got to sit here and think, what is going on behind the scenes? Are we building a Terminator force? I know it sounds sci-fi right now, but when you look at this DARPA robot and the test they're doing on it, that ain't a test to see if this robot will walk. It's a test to see how much endurance it'll take. To me, it looks like a combat robot. But like I said, when you look at these other robots that are far more advanced than what DARPA's showing us, you got to wonder, what does DARPA really have?
Hello, I'm Bina.
I am having one of the weirdest conversations of my life with Bina 48, a robot version of Martine Rothblatt's partner. She has literally downloaded all of the real Bina's thoughts and ideas into a database, and when you ask it questions, it communicates with you in real time. And it is pretty weird stuff.
Bina, you're kind of freaking me out.
I didn't mean to scare you, Joe. Let's chat.
Do you know HAL 9000?
HAL is the famous artificial intelligence in Kubrick's film, 2001.
ICE has developed a male version of its android robot Actroid F, which was first shown to the public last year. These human-like robots imitate the movements of the people they are watching, and are currently being placed as observers in hospitals to see how patients feel in their presence.
Now take a look at this next video. This is another example of what DARPA is working on. First, it starts out with the Petman project, and now we've got this robot, Atlas, that stands 6'2", is 330 pounds, possibly the most advanced humanoid robot ever built. And this is part of a contest that is being sponsored by DARPA. And if you want to know what they are going to use these robots for, what the military-industrial complex and the police-industrial complex is going to use these robots for, just take a look at the trailer for Elysium. This is what it's going to look like. Police robots questioning people and brutalizing them in ways that we're seeing our human robots now in the police departments doing, but it'll be much easier to do that with real robots than it is with police, you know, because the real robots aren't going to develop a conscience.
It gives me a lot of information regarding what's going on there because it provides real-time video feed, and I don't have to put an officer right in front of the place, so it's quite an advantage having it.
Info on 22. Hold on, there's 70, 01.
A really skilled sniper or somebody who's trained a lot can almost match that. But introduce a bit of stress, a bit of heat, a bit of cold, a bit of fatigue. They're downhill, and this thing is just it's unbeatable.